Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and a very good day to all my boys and girls. I hope you all are safe and staying indoors. This rainy season has broken the records of last 30 years. May Allah keep us all safe and may this rain bring more benefits and khair to all of us. All those who are in suffering due to this torrential rain may be pleased and at ease soon. Let's all extend our hands of help to them who needs it at this difficult time. I hope my children are watching the video lessons regularly, doing the self-practice work, and today also they are sitting with their books, booklets, and writing pens and pencils. And you will be noting down the pointers which will help you in making your notes in future. You all are young, responsible boys and girls, and we expect a very responsible behavior from you all towards your academics. We understand virtual school is very different from your physical regular school. But we also know that you people are champions and you have adapted very well to this system of learning. So let's begin with the fourth week of our virtual learning. Before we start off, I was just going through few quotes and I liked one. Let's try to follow it. And that is about respect. We all want to be respected. We give respect and we receive respect. Nowadays, we all are so busy with our lives, and 24/7 we carry our cell phones along, following Facebook or Instagram, Snapchat. At times, we are so disconnected from our surroundings. People talking to us, and we just keep our heads down and looking into our phones. My children, show respect to the people who are talking to you. Listen to them. And listening to what others say is the simplest form of showing respect. When someone talks to you, keep your cell phone aside and pay full attention to what the person is saying. Because I'm sure when you are talking to someone, you want to be heard as well. You will not appreciate if the other person also keeps on looking in his cell phone. It seems that he is ignoring you, and I'm sure you will not like it. So the other person also feels the same. When someone talks to you, keep your phone aside and listen carefully to whatever the other person is saying. This is the simplest form of showing respect. One of the most sincere forms of respect is actually listening to what another has to say. So I'm sure from today onwards, my kids are going to follow and remember this quote, which will definitely bring good changes in your life because you give respect and you receive respect. So, let's move on and see what is there for us in our fourth week of virtual learning. Let's quickly recap. Last class was different from the regular because we discussed the paper pattern. We reviewed, we learned about the command words which are there in the questions. And I'm sure while doing your self-practice work as well as next week in fact this week when the home assignment will be uploaded. You will follow the instructions which were given in your paper pattern video lesson. If you forget it, please watch it again so that you can follow the expectations and instructions given to answer your questions. So what topics have we covered in this chapter of topography and drainage till now? We have done northern and northwestern mountains, western mountains, Balochistan Plateau, Potwar Plateau and Salt Range. So now what are we going to do today? Let's find out. And our topic for the day is Indus Plane. We will be doing upper and the lower Indus Plane. So today we are going to identify different features of Indus Plane and we will evaluate the importance of Indus Plane for human activities. So now let's begin. The Indus Plane. Indus Plane is divided into two parts. That is upper Indus Plain, this green patch which you see, and the lower Indus Plain, this beige or light yellow pale colored patch. As the diagram shows, the upper Indus Plain is mostly located in Punjab and the lower Indus Plain is located in Sindh. If you look carefully at the upper Indus Plain, you will see some terms such as Duab and Bar written, whereas in the lower Indus Plain, it is simple river Indus flowing through it. So, Indus Plain is actually the land which is around the river Indus and its tributaries. What is Indus Plain? Indus Plain is the land which is around river Indus and its tributaries. The tributaries of river Indus include Jhelum, Chenab, Satluj and Ravi. The tributaries of Indus Plain are Jhelum, Chenab, Satluj and Ravi. So whatever land is around river Indus and these four tributaries is called Indus Plain. This Indus Plain is divided into two parts, Upper Indus and Lower Indus. Upper Indus is the region which starts from Attock over here and comes up to this point which is called Mithun Coat. Mithun Coat is a small place in the upper Sindh. While the lower Indus Plain starts from Mithun Coat and comes down till Thatta. It may touch some parts of Balochistan such as Jafrabad. These are some features of Indus Plain which we will be discussing now. All right, so let's move on to the place we are going to discuss next. But before proceeding, I would like to emphasize on a point over here. If you see this point, Mithun Coat, is where only one river has started to flow. This is the point where all the tributaries of river Indus join together. Over here, Indus, Ravi, Satluj and Chenab are joining and then falling into river Indus. From here, Mithun Coat, the tributaries join and turn into the major river, river Indus, which then enters Sindh. All right. Now, what are some important features of the Indus Plain? Duabs. Duabs are made up of active floodplain, old floodplain, alluvial terraces, which are also called as bar upland, Piedmont Plain, Tidal Delta, and rolling sand plains deserts. So in today's class, we'll be doing the first feature, which is Doab. So we'll be discussing active old floodplain and the alluvial terraces. Now, this is the region where you see all these blue lines are the floodplains. Dark green are the old floodplains, light blue are the active and delta floodplains, whereas these orange patches are elevated lands of alluvial terraces. So going back to Duabs, this is how this region looks like. River is flowing here, and you see the old floodplain around it. So in simple terms, we can say the land which is right next to the river is active and the old floodplain. Doab. Doab is a land located between two rivers. Do means two and ab means water. Doab is a land which is located between two rivers. They are only found in Upper Indus Plain. Why is that so? Can anyone answer? That why Duabs are only found in the Upper Indus Plain? Because in the Upper Indus Plain, four rivers are flowing along with River Indus. So the land which is between the two rivers may be Indus and Jhelum, Jhelum or Chenab, Chenab or Ravi. So the land between these two rivers is called Doab. When Doab enters the valley, it forms features such as levees, active floodplain, old floodplain, scarp, and alluvial terraces. Now this is the cross section of Doab. The land looks like this. Levees, see this is river, this is levees. Levees are uprised embankments of the river, or you can say they are like river banks, which creates the limit for the river's sideways. Then after levees comes the active flood plain. This active floodplain gets flooded almost every alternate year. Then we have old floodplain. The features of old floodplains are meander floodplains, and the cover floodplains. We'll be discussing them in the coming slides. After the active and old floodplain comes the scarp. Scarp is a slant which takes you up to the alluvial terraces. These alluvial terraces are also known as bar or bar upland. So the four important features of the Doab are levees, which are like embankments controlling the river borders, followed by active floodplain, which gets flooded almost every alternate year or after 2 years. Then comes the old floodplain. This area of old floodplain gets flooded after 8 to 10 years. Then scarp, followed by alluvial terraces or bar upland. This is elevated area, also known as bar. This land is rich in alluvium, and so they are called alluvial terraces. Human features of Doab. Now, what are the features which make it important for humans? Why humans give utter importance to Doab? Because Doab has number of human activities such as farming, as alluvium and water is easily available, bar uplands which are elevated from the normal land are ideal for constructing settlements. Over here, the transport links can easily be made by either constructing roads or laying railway tracks. As this is ideal for settlements, industries and businesses centers can also be made here. The active floodplain is close to the river, so it receives maximum amount of water. This area is ideal for growing crops. Rice and sugarcane, which requires a lot of water, can successfully be grown in the active flood plain. As Bara plant is elevated and does not have a very good soil, but close to water and crops can be used for settlement and industries. The bars are higher places which are safe from floods. They can also be used for farming activities. As we have already discussed, this elevated land is ideal for settlement, businesses, and industries. So this is the reason why Doab is highly popular among the human for its importance. So as we discussed in the objective, that we will evaluate the importance of Doab for human activities. I repeat, human activities such as farming and settlement can easily take place on Doab. Now there are some very important Doabs in the Indus Plain, upper Indus Plain. Now let's have a look at them. Now this is an activity which you people have to do and answer them in your Google Classroom. Name the Duabs A, B, C, and D. You can take reference from your textbook. Write the names in the Google Classroom. Name the Duabs A, B, C, and D. What they can be: Bari Doab, which flows between river Satluj and river Ravi; Rachna Doab, which flows between river Ravi and Chenab; Chach Doab, which is located between river Chenab and Jhelum. I'm sorry, they do not flow, but they are land. And Sindh-Sagar Doab, between river Jhelum and Indus. I'll take you back to the first slide, which shows these Doabs. Have a look over here. Sindh-Sagar Doab, between river Indus and river Jhelum. Chaj Doab, Rachna Doab, and Bari Doab. Now you will follow the map which is given in the lesson to answer the question of your Google Classroom. Remember to answer them. Just write A and the name of Doab, B And the name of Duab, C, the name of Duab, and D, the name of Duab. I'm sure you people will do it very well. It's there in the books as well, and it's in the video lesson too. So you can take reference of your book and answer them in the chat box of your Google Classroom. Looking forward to the answers. Now, active floodplains, which in local language are known as Khaddar or Bet. They are found in the upper and lower Indus Plain. Active floodplain is the area which is right next to the river. The narrow strip of land on both sides of river Indus, Jhelum, Chenab, Ravi and Satluj. It floods almost every year or alternate year in summers during the monsoon season. When it rains a lot, the rivers start to overflow and flood the nearby land, which is active flood plain. It may cover the area of 24 to 40 kilometers. There can be small pieces of land surrounded by rivers. New alluvium is deposited every year, and they are also 2 to 3 meters above the river level. Coming back to this diagram, over here, this is river. So obviously when it rivers a lot, when it rains a lot, the river overflows. And when the river will overflow, where will the water go? It will automatically come to the active floodplains. That is the reason why this area gets flooded almost every year or alternate year. Old floodplains. Now they are present between the active floodplain and the alluvium terraces, bar upland. This land may get flooded after 8 to 10 years. They are higher than the active floodplain. They are covered with old alluvium and are saved from the floods. They are found in both upper and lower Indus Plain. Features include abundant channels, levees, as I discussed what levees are, meanders and oxbow lakes. Meanders and oxbow lakes are created due to a pattern of water flowing through them. If you look at this part of old floodplain, it says that meander floodplain and cover floodplain. Meanders are formed when the water flows in a certain area, and lakes are formed by the water staying there. There are some depressions on the land where the water may stay or collected. They are called oxbow lakes. Scarpa Cliff. They are steep slopes. As I shared in the diagram earlier, that over here, if you see the scarp, they are steep slopes which is between the old floodplain and the alluvial terrace. They can be 5 to 11 meters higher than the river level. It can be 5 to 8 meters wide and is only found in upper Indus Plain. We did uh, active floodplain and old floodplain, which are found in both upper and the lower Indus Plain, whereas the scarp or cliff is only found in the upper Indus Plain. They are steep slopes. Alluvial terraces or the bar upland, which is also a feature of Duab and available in the upper Indus Plain. Now, this area of alluvial terrace is very far from the river. It may not get affected by the flood. They are flat surfaces covered with old alluvium, which maintains the fertility of soil. They can be 25 to 30 kilometer wide and 10 to 12 meters above the river level. As they are 10 to 12 meters above the river level, they are safe from the floods. Now, what are the names and location of Bar Uplands? Kirana Bar, which is located in the Chaj Doab between Jhelum and Chenab. Sandal Bar is located on Rachna Doab between Chenab and Ravi. Ganji and Nili Bar on Bari Doab between Ravi, Beas and Satluj. Over here, you can see them as well. Let me take you back to one of the initial pictures where you will find these in most simplest way. Over here, see the Sindh Sagar Doab, which has the Chach Doab and the Kirana Bar. Now this Kirana Bar is located on the Chach Doab. Similarly, this Sandal bar is located on Rachna Doab. It's very important for you all to know the different doabs and the different bars which are located in different regions. So, very importantly, learn the locations of these bars so that you can have a better understanding of these. All right, so I'm sure now the names and locations of these bars are clear to you all. They cannot be learned in one go. You need to revise them over and over again to remember their names, locations, which Doab are they located on, and Doab is located between which two rivers. You need to practice them a lot. So please do not get stressed. Okay, oh my God, how am I gonna do it? Slowly and gradually, you'll be able to do that. So let's quickly summarize our learning for the day. We learned about the upper Indus Plain and the lower Indus Plain. We learned that Doab, Bar Upland and Alluvial Terraces are only located in upper Indus Plain, while the active floodplain and the old floodplains are located in the lower Indus Plain as well. We discussed that why upper Indus Plain has more features as compared to lower Indus Plain, and we learned that upper Indus Plain has more than one river flowing, and that is the reason why they have Doab. Doab means land between the two rivers, and in Sindh only one river is flowing, which is river Indus. So I'm sure you will watch the lesson again and try to comprehend and learn the concepts we did today. Remember to answer the names of doabs in the comment box of your Google Classroom. A, B, C and D. Only write down the names, that which doab is A and which doab is B, C and D. So thank you so much, boys and girls. Keep watching the lessons on time. Don't pending, keep them on pending. Do the self-practice work regularly. Otherwise, when the schools will be reopening and the days will be closer, it will be difficult for you to cope up with all the video lessons. So my boys and girls, thank you so much for being attentive listeners as always. Stay away from going out in the rainy season. Stay away from the electric poles. Enjoy the weather at home. These are difficult times, but I'm sure and inshallah ta'ala, they will also pass. So take care, stay safe, and take care of your loved ones as well. See you next time. Till then, Allah Hafiz.